What is up, guys? Archon tonight, I'm bringing you guys another YouTube video. I did briefly glance over these changes here, but I want to go in more depth with you guys. As you guys probably have heard, the new expansion, Skullomance Academy, is coming out soon, and with it, we're going to see some Battlegrounds changes. Honestly, I wanted to see some Hook Tusk nerfs. I think Hook Tusk is really strong right now. She's kind of like old Millhouse. I don't think the win rate is quite as high, but she definitely has the potential to flood the board and then be able to just level up off that alone. On top of that, I'm hoping to see some Arcane Cannon changes, because Arcane Cannon at a 2-drop is just ridiculously strong right now. I do think the power needs to be toned down. I think it should be moved to the Pirates category. But anyway, let's see what we have here. We have a new hero coming, Tess Greymane, Bob's Burgles. Refresh Bob's Tavern with minions from your last opponent's warband. So this costs 1. So you're obviously going to always do it on 9 gold, in particular if there's something you want. I think that Tess is going to be insanely broken. I don't know why they would give her this hero power, especially with the way the algorithm works for opponents. Usually in games, you'll find that you only play like 3, maybe 4 opponents in the entire match. Very rarely do you actually face everybody outside of the game just going to endgame and those being the last people left. So I think Tess is going to be really strong. You're going to be able to build your board off of your opponent's minions. It's almost like Rafam, but this is actually better than Rafam, because you get to purchase multiple minions from the warband. You get to pick and choose kind of which ones you want. I don't know if it's how many from the warband, if it's all of them or just a couple of them. It doesn't necessarily say. It says minions plural. So this is going to be interesting. I think she's going to be able to triple cards effectively. I also believe that she can transition out of whatever build she's currently in. Let's say she's doing demons or something and Murlocs are taking off, or they're trying to take off. They have a Bran, and she just got done facing that player. They're not quite at the power spike to be able to beat demons yet, but they have the Bran. You use the hero power, you get Bran, you get some Murlocs, and bam, there you go. Now you're playing Murlocs, and you can transition easily. And the other thing about Murlocs is that there's usually like 3 or 4 people in the lobby going Murlocs nowadays, so it makes it all the more easier. And if you happen to catch the opponent that's, not as lucky with his Murlocs, you still get triples off of them. You still get to fill your board with them. And then when you do finally get back up to that guy who is playing Murlocs, if you have the HP, you're at like probably 24, 25 HP by that point. You lose maybe 11 HP, let's say. You now get to steal another brand potentially, get a triple there. Or you get to steal buffs off of his board if he's running Begurgles. And then you get to buff your Murlocs with his Begurgles, and then you also still have, a couple other rolls. So Tess Greymane is going to be really strong for transition builds. It's almost, I would say, on par. Sorry. Nose is kind of bothering me. Sinuses are bothering me. But anyway, it's almost on par with, who was it? Like I said, Rafam. I think it's a better Murozond as well. Just because you get to pick and choose from the tavern itself. It costs 1 gold. Yes, with Bran, you do get your gold back for playing Murozond, so there's still no punishment if you happen to come across one. You could actually use this in conjunction with Murozond. Really fill your board with your opponent's minions if there was anything good. I don't know. Like I said, I think there's just the potential here for this to get out of hand and get really, really broken really fast. Mukla is returning. Bananarama. Get 2 bananas at the end of your turn. Give everyone else 1. Okay, Mukla, sharing is caring, but unfortunately here, this is a terrible hero power. I'm sorry. Yes, you get +2/+2, but there's so many hero powers like Pyramid, Millie, the Wax Band hero, Wagtagle, I think is what her name is, the Rat King. Like, there's so many different heroes that actually affect stat lines that giving yourself +2/+2 really doesn't to me stand out as good when you're giving everybody else +1/+1. You're only netting +1/+1 gain, and potentially you're giving an opponent who otherwise is building attack stats a extra health and an extra attack stat to beat you down later. So Mukla, I think, just doesn't have a hero power. They're going to have to hotfix Mukla again, and they're going to have to figure something else out, because I don't think this is it. This is not it. Dino Tamer Bran is coming back with the Battle Brand, hero power. Refresh Bob's Taverns with Battlecry minions. So if you guys recall, Bran, when he was in the game before, his hero power was whenever you play a Battlecry minion, gave a random minion, I believe, +1/+1. It was really strong. I think this is going to be strong for certain builds as well, where battle cries are important, like Murlocs. You could potentially get a bunch of buff Murlocs from it. Dragons, I think this is where it's going to be the strongest. He's going to actually be the strongest dragon hero if you can somehow hyper scale to 6. and get 2 Caligoses or even 1 Caligos, because you can guarantee that you're gonna get Battlecry minions to buff your dragons on board. So with dragons, I see him being really strong. Only time will tell, obviously, if I'm right on that one. Dragons are a hard build to go because everything is on the upper tiers for them for the most part. Updated heroes. Arana Starseeker, Demon Hunter training. After you refresh 7 times, Bob always has 7 minions. So now it's after you refresh 5 times, Bob always has 7 minions. This is a big deal. This is a big break point. Because what you can do is the first turn, you'll buy your minion. Turn 4, you can choose to roll if you want to. If you choose to level up, you can then on 5 gold, you can roll twice to knock it down to 3. Then you can buy a minion and play that minion. On turn 6, you can actually do what I believe will be a power move in rolling 3 times instead of buying 2 minions. You roll, like I said, you roll 3 times to get the hero power active. So that way, when you go into Tavern Tier 4, or if you wanted to on turn 6, you could actually buy your 2 minions, and then, or sorry, not turn 6, but on 6 gold, you could buy your 2 minions, and then on 7 gold, you could roll 3 times hero power, or sorry, level up, then roll 3 times. And on your 3rd roll, you'll be able to access your new hero power. Sorry, it's complicated, but the breakpoints are there. So you either do it on 5, roll twice. I think you're always going to roll twice. Even if you have a token, I think you're going to roll twice, realistically. Unless whatever you're getting off the token is like a Zubat to buff your minions, and then on 6 you can give up a minion and do it that way. I don't know. Either way, I think you should be activating your hero power by turn 6 on 6 gold or 7 gold, respectively. And then that way it gives you more opportunity for more 3-cost cards. It gives you more opportunity for more triples, and you just scale a bit better. I think letting it kind of draw out is not how you should play this hero. I mean, I honestly, I think, yeah, on 8, if you have 7 choices on 3, that's better than, having to roll 2 more times on 9. You'd have to roll on 9 as well in order to get there. And still match the power scale of everybody else. And even if you have to lose some HP to do so, I think, like I said, having access to 7 minions that early on is going to be a big deal. It'll make up for it in the late game, potentially. Sorry if that was confusing. Captain Hooktusk, Trash for Treasure, cost 0. Remove a friendly minion, discover one from a tavern tier lower. So honestly, we are getting Hooktusk nerfs. Now the new one is remove a friendly minion, get a random minion from one tavern tier lower. So instead of discover, it's now a 1 for whatever's in the tier instead of 1 out of 3. I think this is really good. The other thing that I would have considered doing is making it cost like a couple gold. Maybe 1 gold early on. That would discourage her from being able to just flood the board with token minions early on and, power level and what have you. This is going to be a very big hit to Hooktusk. I think it's going to lower a lot of her power. I am glad that they're doing something about this, though. Battlegrounds minion pool updates. Pirates are no longer guaranteed to appear in every Battlegrounds game. Amalgadon is a new minion. Tier 6, it's categorized as all, 6 attack, 6 health. Battlecry, for each minion type you have, adapt randomly. So this is for the Menagerie builds. This gives the Menagerie a chance to actually get into the late game and do something. The card itself, I think, is good. Especially, like I said, if you have 4 or 5 different types, you could actually replace one of those weaker minions with the Amalgadon and adapt 4 times. Being able to adapt 4 times, you could potentially get Divine Shield Poisonous. It's a lot like the Murlocs Adapt, where you have access to health, you have access to, like I said, Divine Shield, Wind Fury, Taunt. So there's a lot you can do here. I think this is going to be a really strong card for Menagerie. Yeah, I'm glad to see that they're finally getting their archetype recognized, and they're not having to just throw together, Light Fang and, 4 other cards that don't synergize very well. Now they have a synergizing card. So Goldrun is the last updated minion here, or is the only updated minion here. The Great Wolf. Old tier 5, new tier 6. So if you guys weren't aware, beasts were really strong. You'd get like a parrot that got moved to 3. The parrot got nerfed initially and got moved to 3. But anyway, you'd get a parrot, you'd get Goldrun, you'd get Baron, and then you'd have either Hydra or the 7/7 minion that spawns tokens. And from there, you'd pretty much just go to town. Your parrot would attack, trigger the Goldrun active, and it would double for 8/8 worth of stats. If it was gold, you would get 16/16. If Baron was gold, you'd get what, 32/32, I think it was. It scaled so insanely well. It's almost like a better version of Pirates, honestly, as long as you attacked first. I'm not a fan of the whole attack first meta, honestly. It feels really bad to know that you're going to lose a matchup you'd otherwise win because your opponent attacked first, and it's like 50-50 obviously, but then there's times where it just happens 4 or 5 times in a row and you're just sitting here trying to play the game and you can't do it. Anyway, those are the changes for Battlegrounds. I am not going to get into the Hearthstone cards because I don't play the Hearthstone game anymore. I play just the Battlegrounds mode. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I think the big change here, the big winner is going to be Tess. I think Mukla is going to be useless. I think Bran could potentially be good with dragons and maybe Murlocs to a degree. This is a unique change that I think people are just going to have to discover where the good breakpoints are. Like I said, I think it's going to be on 5, you roll twice. And I think on 6, you buy 1 minion. Yes, you'll lose the round, but you'll guarantee 7. Or on 7 gold, you tier it up to 3, and then you use your last 3 rolls. One of the two. You're either going to have 2 minions on 6 gold and be able to get 7 minions on board on turn 8 after the tier up, or vice versa. But anyway, I think it's going to be an interesting hero power to experiment with. Let me know what you guys think about this one. This one's like the one I'm most intrigued about. Captain Hooktusk is getting nerfed. I think this is going to hurt Captain Hooktusk a lot. It's going to be more luck dependent now, whether or not you can just hyperscale early with just token minions. Because you don't get to discover anymore, you just get one randomly given to you. So. As for the new minion, TLDR here, I think he's going to be potentially good for Menagerie. He's going to be pretty strong. I'm going to try it out a couple times, or I'm going to try a couple games with him just to see if I can get the build to work function and get off the ground. Maybe it might need a buff, I'm not sure yet. As for Goldrun, the Great Wolf, this is a big hit to beasts. Because there's only, I think, 9 6s in the game, right? So there's only 3 triples. And this is going to definitely discourage beasts from being played. So you're probably going to see more Murlocs, odds are. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Like I said, let me know what you guys think about the new hero. What do you guys think about the new expansion coming? Sorry I didn't do the Hearthstone cards. If you guys want me to do the Hearthstone cards, I can make a separate video on that. I haven't played the card game, like I said, in forever, and I didn't think that I was qualified for that. But if you still want my opinion on it, I'm sure I can give you guys some ideas. Anyways, catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace.